All right, now we're on the third step of this U crotch that we're doing. So we've sewn the big uppercase U, and we've sewn the reinforcing 1/8 of an inch stitch. Make sure when you do this, I've had kids do it on the wrong side. You don't want it out here in the pajama pants. You want that reinforcing stitch in the seam allowance between the seam and the edge of the fabric. See how mine's in the seam allowance? Some kids, when I do it at school, they sew out here in the pajama pants. That just makes a big weird tuck on your back of your pajama pants. You don't want that. So now we're looking at the 2 notches. The triple notch is the back of the pants, and the double notch is the front of the pants. So we want to look on the side with the triple notch, and you can tell it because it's bigger, and hopefully you cut it accurately and you can tell the difference between the double and the triple like I can tell on mine. We're going to go on the triple notch side, and we're going to go up to the top right there, and we're going to come down a couple of inches, and you're going to use your marking pencil, and you're going to mark an X there, somewhere right in there. Okay, it can be at either spot right there. Because you can't see it on the video, I'm going to use my marker, but you will have a pencil that looks like this probably, but it's hard for you to see on the video. So this is my washable pen that I can wash out after it'll wash out when I wash my pajamas. It's a fabric pen. And then I'm going to mark it like in a couple of spots, just 2 little X's like that. So then when we get to the next step up here, we can tell where the front and the back is if we cut this notch off. Because when we're at school, we serge this with the serger and it cuts the notch off. So I'm doing this for future reference for my other classes. Okay, now we're gonna make sure we don't cut this part of the pajamas. We're only cutting the seam allowance right here, and we're gonna cut this down because what happens is it just is too bulky where we sit on our pajama pants, and it makes it a lot nicer if we cut some of the seam allowance out. So we're going to go down after we mark it, and we're going to come down to about 1/4 inch from that reinforcing stitch, and we're going to cut about this much of the seam allowance off. So we're going to go all the way around from notch to notch, and we're going to make this smooth going from the 5/8 down about 1/4 inch. We're cutting about 1/4 inch of fabric out, so that it's less excess fabric that we're sitting on. Makes your pajama pants just much more comfortable to wear. And then when we get to these, we're going to cut those seam allowances off that are from our inseam. And all the time we're watching this part of the pajama pants that we don't cut into the other part of the leg. We're only cutting the seam allowance, so be really careful and keep your scissors away from the rest of that pant leg. We're going to come to here, and now we can cut off the notches because we were using the notches to match. And now I've got it all trimmed down. We only have to trim it to where the reinforcing stitch ends, and then I've just angled it back up to be at the 5/8 of an inch. And we're done with that step.